Hi, welcome to Let's Talk. Today I'm joined by Adele and Neil from Dundee Libraries about the library reminiscence resources and activities. Hi, Adele and Neil, how are you doing?
Morning, good to see you again.
Good to see you again too, Neil, and welcome, Adele, to your first Let's Talk. Thank you for joining me today. So, Neil, can you outline what you mean by reminiscence, please?
Yeah, indeed. Well, I started off, as a librarian would do, started off with the dictionary definition. So the dictionary definition of reminiscence is an act of remembering events and experiences from the past. So for us, it's an informal way of engaging in a social and relaxed environment, having a chat about the good old days. That's another way of putting it. Can be with friends, can be with family. We do it with library customers. We'll talk about library groups later on. But we all do it without realising we're doing it. We talk about our days at school, whether we've just left school, whether we're in our 60s or 70s. We talk about how the place we've grown up in has changed over the years, clothes we wear or used to wear when we were on holiday, the sweets and snacks that we used to eat that you can't get anymore, places we've been on holiday. We all do it automatically. You just don't realise it is a reminiscence activity. It's organic, it's self-led, it can wander off in unexpected and different directions. The main thing that we found trying to put together both the collections and to support the activities that we do is don't script it too much, because it's all about some other people's memories. And as we all know, memories are not necessarily black and white. It's all shades of grey. So you expect the unexpected is a good way of describing it, because you can't tell what kind of will be recalled by other people when you start speaking about specific topics.
Oh, great. And it's very nostalgic as well. It makes you feel good when you think back to all these wee things that you've just said there, Neil, isn't it? So it is great.
Indeed.
So what kind of resources do you have at the library to support this, Neil?
Well, we've been at this for nearly 9 years now, I would say. I've been doing this for as long as I've been in Dundee Libraries. So we've now 40 different packs. Now, the packs come out in boxes of 36-litre tubs. They're quite big, but they're really just to help stimulate the conversation. It's just to get the conversation started. And we've started, initially the packs were about old Dundee, the war, and the 1940s. That's where most people started off when they started developing reminiscence collections. We have now broadened out to make it into more accessible topics. Now, for example, the one thing I always speak about is I do not, if I'm in a care home in Dundee in my 70s, I do not want to be speaking about Dundee from the 1970s when I was born, because I wasn't here. No. I was born somewhere else. And this came through as well from one of the care homes we were working with at the time. She said, we've now got a lady in the home who grew up and was born in South Africa. Okay. So we've broadened out the topics to things like holidays, fashion, food, time frames, 1950s, 1960s. We moved it on from the 1940s. We're about to move into the 70s and 80s because time is moving on. The groups are moving on. The people that we're dealing with are moving on. One of my personal favourites, one of the most recent topics we developed was bad habits. Smoking, drinking, gambling. Everyone's got an opinion about that, and it's a great way of engaging with people. The packs themselves, as a library service, obviously there's books in the packs, but we try and stimulate all the senses where possible. So, for example, there's music that you can listen to if it's appropriate to the topic. We put in CDs. There's objects to handle with 4 different packs that are just literally objects to pass around, small objects that you can kind of have a feel of and think, oh, what was that? And then just kind of go from there. We're very lucky as well. We've managed to get external funding to purchase second-hand and vintage objects from places like Cleppington Road Antiques. They've been a great support of the service. This is a bit, I'm not sure if it's going to work. We're going to start waving objects to kind of show you the kind of thing.
Okay, we'll give it a go then. That's fine.
These are very popular. These are RSPB birds. So they're tactile because they're soft, but
you've got the noise.
They also sing. So that's the barn swallow, and this is the green finch.
Okay.
Both touch and sound in combined. I've got this nice little tin, as I say, nice thing to hold, to handle. You think, oh, the design's quite nice, but it's only when you open it. It's a digestive tin.
Wow.
And
very good.
Instead of taking the packet to work, you would have put your 2 or 3 biscuits and taken Adele's got some on her side, if we can wave a few objects.
We've got
This is a
It's
classic.
like only people of a certain age and
Oh my, I remember that phone. I had that phone.
We've had schools ask for this because you hand this to somebody who's maybe under 14, they have no idea how a phone operates.
So I wouldn't want to try dialing 999 on this one. It's a bit
No.
slow.
I know.
Other things we've got like coconuts. This is the birds and the coconut shells are from the gardening pack. We're just developing a gardening pack.
Okay.
And then more recently as well, if you can zoom into the camera on that.
The Walkman.
Yeah,
so
Sonny Walkman.
Yes.
that will be going
Very
into
good.
the 1980s pack as we develop it. And here's a little quiz for the recording. What is this?
Oh wow.
Can you work out what that is, Claire?
To me, it looks like the top of a jar or something. Is it? No?
No. I mean, if you handed it round, it would be obvious because it actually says on it what it is.
Okay.
Before we all boiled our milk for our coffee in the microwave, you would have put one of these at the bottom of the pan. It's a milk saver. It stops your milk from boiling over.
Oh,
Great
really?
object to pass round. People of a certain age can remember it. It's worth pointing out, though, reminiscence isn't just for older people. You can reminisce with anybody. You can even reminisce with teenagers about what their primary school was like. But it's great for things. And then if I go out of camera, this is going into bad habits shortly. Came out of my dad's cupboard at home.
Oh, an ice cube holder.
Probably nicked from the golf club. I'll admit that.
Oh, brilliant. Very good.
We've got books, CDs. We can't do food for obvious reasons. We'd really like to do taste, but there is a kind of one or several of the packs of recipes in them. And we did dally a bit with kind of smell packs. You can get them, but equally, you just go to like Boots or whatever people or companies that sell kind of essential oils, and lavender's a good one. A lot of people use lavender packets to line their drawers when they're older. Roses, oranges, you can get this, you just get the essential oils and you can pass that around. So it's really, really good. And we can also tap into our colleagues in our kind of Central Library Local History Department for old pictures and old maps if anybody else wants something else that kind of helps them stimulate the conversation.
Oh, fabulous. That's great. Really, really good. It made me think back to a few things when you pulled out those different items. So, yeah, that's great. Great. So you've kind of touched on this slightly, but who are these resources available to then?
Yeah, mostly in the past, we've dealt with sheltered housing complexes, the wardens, care homes, community groups. We work a lot with third sector charities that want to take them out and do in-house reminiscence sessions on a one-to-one basis or with groups within the setting. More recently, and this ties into the previous Let's Talk we did, we've started letting smaller packs go out to the at-home customers because a lot of the people that have inquired about it are maybe trying to support an older relative who's in their own home, maybe slightly isolated. It gives them something to talk about when they go in. It's just good. So we've got, I think there's 3 at the moment come on to service. Rather than books, as we talked about last time, or reading material, they go out to the family member and they're there for the person to work with their older relative when they see them. It just gives them something to talk about. So, for example, the jute industry and the jute mills of Dundee, that's been requested by one of those customers because the person worked in the jute mills in Dundee. But we can probably theme a pack more specifically for an individual on a one-to-one basis, whereas the other 40 or so packs are on set topics and they just go out as they are.
Yeah, good. Great, that's really good then. I mean, yes, it's available to whoever who it would relate to, I suppose, isn't it? Which is great, like you say, a bigger group of people or just even a one-to-one. I know my dad, he had Alzheimer's, but he was very into football when he was obviously younger until he was into his 60s. And we used to have a pack of old football cutouts that we had in a folder, and bringing them out and going over them with him, you seen the wee sparkle in his eye again, because it was a memory of obviously back then what he enjoyed doing. So it is such a great thing. It really is. All these reminiscence tools are amazing. They're great.
And that's a good example of sport as well, especially football. Our colleagues upstairs in the local studies department digitized an old football guide for us. I think it was the Teams of Scotland at the time, but it's peppered with old adverts of shops from Dundee. So don't think sport and football has to be just for the men.
No.
A couple reminiscing, the wife can go, I shop there. because it's really, really good. And this is what I'm saying, kind of reminiscence can often go in different and unexpected ways when you actually start. Don't think it's too structured. Don't try and plot the route.
No, it builds a good conversation, doesn't it? Definitely.
Indeed.
Now, how can people get involved in this then, Neil and Adele?
There's two ways you can do this. You can pop into Central Library and ask for Care Adele, because there's a group that we're coming to in a minute. Or you can email or phone us and ask to get access to the Reminiscence packs, because I deal with the packs as well as the at-home service, so it would all come to me. We'll put the contact details as we did before with the Let's Talk. But the number again, 01382 431537. That's for at home. It would also get me for Reminiscence. Or just come in to Central Library, ask at the desk, and if Adele's around, if I'm around, if Kay's around, they'll find us. Because often it's the kind of thing we need to have a chat to see what the person wants in the first case. And then we try and give them specifically what would help them in that particular setting.
Yeah, so for instance then, Neil, if somebody came in but they maybe worked in the NCR or they worked in the Timex and things like that, is that something you could then pull together some material for them to obviously make that a talking topic then,
One of the packs is Lost Industries of Dundee in Scotland. There is Timex stuff in there. There is NCR stuff in there. We can get more. The difficulty with the packs is not stacking it too much in one direction, because it is to stimulate the conversation. So I think with the Timex stuff, it was like a safety handbook that's in there. And with NCR, it's not NCR, it's Michelin. We've actually got a year's worth of Michelin staff magazines that we've digitised and produced. And again, that's a good example. It recalls weddings of staff, social events of staff. So it's not just about the working in the factory. It covered the social side as well.
Brilliant. Very good. Great. Okay, now, are there any organised reminiscence sessions across Dundee Libraries that people can attend?
I understand Lockheed have one as well, but we have one here in Central Library that runs on the third Wednesday of the month, and that's in the leisure reading department at 10:30 in the morning. It provides an opportunity for people to get together and have a chat over a cup of tea and share their memories, and Kay and I will set up a topic. And quite often we'll use the packs, we'll get photographs together, books together for them to chat over. And it gives everybody a chance to get together in a warm, safe space, but also provides the social interaction. So Kay and I are really there to help keep the conversation going rather than to, talk at them. That's not with that. So in the past, we've had stuff on days gone by, we've had school days, we've had the bad habits. We've had some wonderful conversations that have popped up out of nowhere, where somebody's told us some wonderful story about something that happened to them as a child or as a younger adult about their stuff. So it's been fantastic. And the materials there, just a great range. It just helps guide the topic. It helps them, spar off memories like, I remember that snow that year. I remember that play park, this sort of thing. It's quite informal. It's largely participant-led, so they let us know what they want. They're asking us now for topics, which is really nice. Last month, we had a guest speaker, a guy called Kenneth Mill. He came to talk about jute wallas in India, if I can pronounce that properly.
Yeah. We're still not sure if we're pronouncing that right. But...
We had lots of lovely stuff about the jute industry in India and about the lives that these people lived when they were out in India, which was fantastic. It's open to all ages. We've had grandchildren and children bring their grandparents and parents along before, which is really nice. We get that social interaction. And it's really brilliant because they love talking to each other, but what they love more is getting somebody younger than them to tell them their stories. I think it's absolutely fantastic to do that. So it's great when we get younger folks along as well. Our next meeting will be on the 21st of May, and we're doing, the topic is the dignity burn and life related to living around the area at the time. So there's everything from people living, and there was a chap, I believe, that's talked before about a sibling falling in the burn and them getting the sibling out. But also the bleach fields in the industry that was along the burn, which was wonderful. But if anybody's interested in sessions, just call or email and ask for myself or Kay, and we'll try and answer as many questions as possible. If you need and you're worried about coming along for the first time, let us know you're coming, and we'll greet you. We'll look for you in the foyer, and we'll make sure that you get set up with your cup of tea and introduce you to a few people, so you're not at loose end.
Perfect. That sounds great, Adele. Thank you.
2 footnotes to that. We had 2 ladies, I think they're in the core group. There's a core of about 8 or 9 that come just about to every session. 2 ladies came independently of each other, and it was only when they turned up at the group they realised they'd worked together.
It was wonderful.
Was it Timex?
Yeah, no, it was in one of the cancer research labs for Dundee University.
Both retired ladies, lost contact, couldn't believe they both turned up for it, and have now re-engaged with each other.
Oh, that's great.
And on another separate front, we're also now working with DC Thompson's. David Powley, archivist, has been in touch. David was getting reminiscence requests for a kind of archive material. He's their archivist, to the point he couldn't cope. So what we've agreed is that he's going to, they've given us the first batch of images from their own archives, and we will incorporate that material into the packs. They've given us old annuals, they've given us old comics, but also pictures that were in the newspapers that they've got the copyright for that we don't. So they've given us permission to include that
that's good.
in our packs. So if you're thinking about contacting DC Thompson's for reminiscence, you'll be diverted to us now in the future.
That's
and
good.
Depending on what request David gets, he'll also feed that into us to say, I've now got a request for golf, get more golf pictures through, etc., etc.
Very good. Makes sense. Keep it under one roof, doesn't it, Neil? So people aren't going back and forth to different organisations or departments. But that sounds great, and it is great. I mean, I know myself. I've got 2 younger kids, and they love speaking to their granddad about when he, in the olden days, when he was in the Merchant Navy and all these things, and they referred to me saying, "Mum, remember you're in the olden days? Did you have this? Did you have that?" And they love it. They love knowing about what you did and what you got up to and things. So, and you're right, Adele. I think it's good for younger people to learn all about these things as well and tell the story, isn't it? Because it's so good to hear, and they really do enjoy it too. So it's good that this is really interesting to me. I love hearing about all the old things and that, and reminiscing about different things. So it's a great service. It really does sound really good.
And I've learned a whole raft of new words that I didn't know
bet
existed.
You have. Every day's a school day, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, that was great. Well, thank you very much for that. It was really interesting, really good. I think it's a really good service that people can be getting involved in. And I'd like to say as well, the library, the Central Library itself is such a big space. People might think it's just when they come in, it's just a library part, but I know what you're talking about, the room and that is it's a nice room where people can come together and like you say, enjoy a coffee and a cup of tea and that. It's not a big space you're sitting in. It's a smaller space, which is quite good to get together in a group setting. So I would encourage anybody to definitely pop along and find out about this service and other bits and pieces that go on within the library too, because it's a great hub of what you've got going on.
If you've got a group from a care home, we can accommodate them as well to come in. We have a local care home that occasionally brings down a few gentlemen to join in as well, so it's nice.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, we'll pop all the details anyway in the comment section below, any contact numbers and email addresses, and also any flyers to promote the groups that you've got going on as well, Adele. So we'll get them in the section below. But yeah, listen, thanks again for that. I really appreciate coming along today and talking about that. And let's fingers crossed more people get involved in it.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Claire.
Okay, take care. Thank